We spend so much of our lives searching for a place to belong, across countries, relationships, and different versions of ourselves, hoping that somewhere things will finally click into place. But what if belonging isn't something we find out there? On this season of The Long Road Home, I'm exploring what it really means to feel at home, not just in a place, but in our bodies, our choices, and our lives as they are. I'll be sitting with people who have followed that question in their own way, across landscapes, identities, and inner and outer worlds. Because for many of us, the question of belonging is still unanswered. Today's guests, Irie and Aje Akarsha, are on that journey in a very tangible way. Together with their 4 children, they made the decision to leave Australia and build a life in the mountains of South India. Their home is part food forest, part farm school, rooted in wild schooling, regenerative living, and a deep connection to the land. Ajay is a farmer, founder of the Hinterland Village School of Yoga, and a teacher of nervous system-informed practice. Irie is a free-birthing mother, holistic birth mentor, and creative, devoted to nurturing life through art, land, and connection. In this conversation, we explore what it actually takes to build a life like this from the ground up. My hope is that you'll walk away with a different understanding of belonging, not as something rooted to place, but to presence. Hey everyone, I'm Yamuna. Welcome to the first season of The Long Road Home, a podcast where travelers, storytellers, and culture makers I've met along my global journeys share the stories behind their paths, their roots, the roads they've traveled, and how those journeys have helped them find their way home in the world and within themselves. I'm so glad to have you here with me. Let's go. Hi, everybody. I am recording this from the Western Ghats in India at a beautiful mountain abode, visiting my friends, Aje and Irie, who I actually met on Instagram a few years ago. And I decided to come and visit them with my daughter. And we're sitting out on the patio right now under the stars, having some tea and a little smoke. I think you're going to love these folks and be really excited about their life. So I'm going to turn it over to them for a small introduction. And I think first is going to be Ajay.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for a wonderful intro and such a warm welcome. Nice to be part of this podcast. So my name is Ajay, also call me Kush sometimes, and I was born in Kerala. I left Kerala when I was about 15 years and moved to Switzerland, and then get my late teens and 20s in Europe, doing various jobs from working in restaurants to zookeeping to doing wildlife filmmaking, and eventually learning about meditation and yoga, and returning back to India on and off between 25 and 30s, and then finally meeting my wife, Irie, and living in Australia for around 10 years. Now we live here in the mountains of Ireland. I just bought children and a dog.
That's so nice to meet you in person, finally. Hi, greetings and blessings. So my name is Irie. I'm Australian. I was actually born in Ecuador, and I grew up in Australia with an Australian mother and an Austrian father. But I spent my childhood in Australia. I grew up in a rural town on acreage. I had animals and lots of freedom as a child. Grew up peacefully, went to school and university, but I was not that academic. I really needed to leave university ASAP. I was not I was not in it. And I always had a an urge to travel. So I did a lot of traveling. I left home at 17 and maybe 18, went traveling and came back and forward to Australia a lot, did a lot of different jobs all over the place. Yeah, always had a strong calling to be in India, even from a small child, not knowing why or much about India at all, but I always had this really strong fascination with all indigenous cultures, really, but like in particular India. And yeah, when I met AJ, it was just so like it just made so much sense. And yeah, now we live here in India, and yeah, it feels much like home.
Hmm. That is exactly what I want to get into with you guys because obviously I've been following you for a few years and I don't know who followed who first, but I have a feeling it was me because I was probably watching your lives and obsessing about you guys having kids and kind of living the dream that I'd always had and doing the thing that I always wanted to do in the place that I wanted to do it, which I have not done really with my child except for this trip. And so part of coming here and visiting you was also getting to see how you guys are doing it as an intercultural couple, living on a homestead, which you are developing, being entrepreneurs in various different fields, and raising four children, which is like no small feat, and doing it in a very humbling and also magical and very courageous way because, you know, you're a free birther, Irie, and you guys have been traveling with your family like between many different countries and being part Indian myself and AJ being Indian. Like I think I'm going to start with you and just kind of zero in a little bit on your childhood growing up and kind of getting a sense for how you feel being here, living the life that you're living, you know, based on the childhood you grew up in. And so I'm curious about, you know, growing up in Kerala as a young boy, what your life was like and what expectations were sort of placed on you. Like, who are you going to be if you had stayed in that box?
It's a very, very tricky question in that way because growing up, I was into sports. So cricket was like my family wanted me to become a cricketer, a sportsman, like would play for India, train really hard. If that didn't work, they wanted me to be like a very successful businessman. Because that's what my dad does. Or take his business, which was not my field of interest. Like I was more into nature and spirituality and exploring different dimensions of life beyond just the material and fame and things like that. Although I was drawn into cricket and fame a little bit in those early years. But when I left India, I really realized that there's so much more out there that you're not exposed to in a very narrow-minded, conservative Indian society, which is very much oriented towards living the life that the society kind of conditions you. And I was not really a man to be tamed in that way. So for me, it was necessary for me to go away from that conditioning and live in the jungles, live in the Himalayas, and experience people who were living off the box, who didn't care for what the society's expectations were, and just carve a life.
Mm-hmm. And I know that like through some of the conversations that we had in the kitchen, like we talked a little bit about you know, how Indian culture and society is based a lot on social approval. And that matters a lot for what people choose to do with their lives versus following their authenticity. Like, how do you think you personally found the courage to overcome, you know, the many voices around you, whether it was through your family or even just your cultural conditioning, um, where did that come from in you that allowed you to like choose your true path versus choosing the path that others want for you and may still want for you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I was really fascinated was growing up, especially in my late teens, was different mystic traditions of the world. So not just Indian, but like African, South American, but also like other Asian, like Chinese, Taoist philosophies, Zen philosophies, and things like that. So I really gained an understanding that everyone is searching for, getting away from suffering or having more contentment and peace in the present moment. And even those people within my own family who had certain expectations, when I started to closely watch them, I realized that most of them were not really truly happy with how things were going for them. And many of the family members had a lot of chronic illnesses, very short-tempered, a lot of emotional ups and downs and things like that. So for me, it kind of struck a chord deep in me that whatever they are saying is not for me, because I don't want to like mirror what they are. I knew that there was a different way. And when I started traveling and reading more and learning more about different mystic traditions, meeting different mystics who were free-spirited, I felt a resonance. I felt like, wow, you can actually be free-spirited. I met like people in their 70s and 80s who are still dancing to music, who are still like very vibrant, very, very joyful, as opposed to people living in the cities or my family members who are, like not very happy, very just living a really boring lifestyle, watching their TV and,
I
fighting.
think we all know a lot of those folks. Yep.
So it was quite obvious for me, like, this is not for me. Like, I don't want to be one of those people in my 70s. I want to really have something else. I want to remain in that youthfulness and remain that child of the universe without putting on so much baggage on my shoulders. Just be free, really. So,
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I just wonder, like, what would you say that there was a cost to choosing your authenticity? Like, has there been a cost for you?
the cost has been definitely breaking away from not love, but some kind of deeper connection with my family members,
Maybe
including
acceptance or,
acceptance.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of, when families see you, or like even my parents, they feel let down sometimes, like,
Yeah.
and that was a big challenge. So I was going through a very difficult time for like maybe 10 years or 12 years, where I was not even talking with them, and even my sister was having a lot of difficulty in understanding, why am I like this? Why can't you live like others? Why are you making life so difficult for us? We have to answer our the wider society and community. How can we deal with that? And that was really playing in my mind as well. So I was also processing a lot. So that was a big cost. But like, I now in hindsight, it made this journey much more strong. Like, I feel that was really needed for me to know, like, is this really for me? It was testing me a lot, but
You found some conviction
I
in
found,
your path.
yeah, I didn't just bow down and succumb to that pressure.
Mm.
I persisted, and eventually I feel I came out of that with without any resentments, without any kind of ill feelings for anyone. And that, so it also preserves my own nervous system, but also for the future, for my own kids. I don't want them to have any kind of resentments towards anybody, any part of the society, or anyone. Even though they don't agree with you, you can still find some kind of unity and bridge.
Do you feel that that experience that you've had has like really informed your parenting style with your kids?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And how would you classify your parenting style if you could? Or like, what is your ethos or your sort of maybe your values around
Yeah.
parenting your kids?
Yeah. For me, parenting is I don't want to be a friend just like friends with my children, but I want to have strict boundaries for them. But also, I want them to experience life from their own perspective without having my influence on it so much, or Irie's influence for that matter. I want them to experience it in their own authentic self.
Hmm.
And whatever they are good at or whatever they feel drawn to, I want them to feel that experience on their own rather than me encouraging them to go and look at it. Let them kind of magnetize themselves towards what they like. So that's, and just for me as a parent, just facilitate the conditions so that that can happen. Just create the right experiences without forcing anything on them, including spirituality or including prayer and things like that. Yes, I teach them prayer. I teach them to be grateful for things. And I also remind them to keep doing that, but I don't want to force them into any kind of religion or any specific type of orientation when it comes to who they are or what kind of beliefs they should have and things like that.
Hmm. And for those people who are listening, who may see the pictures and Instagram, I can assure you that their kids are so happy and living a very wild and precious life, and learning a lot and incredibly brilliant and emotionally intelligent. So
Thank
it's
you.
been such a
Bless you.
joy to be here, and it's been so great for Aramara to be with your kids also. Okay, before we pass the mic to Irie and talk a little bit about the mothering experience here, I'm curious to know, given everything that you've experienced as a Carolyn, having left, coming back, challenging the orthodoxy, how do you feel now living here as like a landowner and a homeowner and raising your wildlings in this place? Do you feel a sense of belonging, or do you still have a feeling of being an outsider? Because again, for those who may not see you visually at this moment, like you have a look that is not like the typical Carolyn. Like you've got dreadlocks about as long as tall as I am. And many people here, as I understand, mistake you for a foreigner or perhaps a Punjabi when they're all wrapped up in a turban. And when they find out that you're a Malayali guy, they're like, what? This guy doesn't fit the narrative we have in our heads of our people. So do you feel now as an outsider or an insider, or is it even something that you care about at all?
Yeah, I think I don't care about it anymore, to be honest. I feel very much home in this earth as an earthling. Like I don't really feel so much drawn to a particular nationality or uh like a culture like that. Wherever I am, when I was living in Australia, I felt very much like an Aboriginal person. When I visit Africa, I feel very much African. And when I was in Europe, UK, I very much connected with, beyond the color or race and things like that. I feel very much I'm past that stage. I don't differentiate me and others based on any kind of, color or race and things like that anymore. And being here again in this land, people are the same everywhere, I feel.
Hmm.
Going through the same struggles, going through the same sufferings, same ambitions, or the willingness to experience something beyond what they have right now. So for me, like the work has started long time ago, and it's still continuing for me to center myself, ground myself wherever I am, and through that, I experience everything in that kind of way. I definitely connect with the land here, the mountains, the weather. It's a bit more easier on me rather than being in a very cold place.
Hmm.
I connect with that very much. But beyond that, with the people and the society, I love India. I love the vibrancy, the freedom. But I still feel, the India has changed a lot over the years. People really are more attached to the material part of things rather than the spiritual side of things, and everything is a bit more commodified, including spirituality, including yeah, like mysticism and thoughts and wisdom and things like that. But yeah, the land always is timeless, it's ancestral. So I think every step feels that kind of that that power, that weight of ancestral lineage and ancestral guidance and protection in every step.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. I need to hear that too. Absolutely. That's part of my journey, so I appreciate that. Irie, I think we've spent a lot of time together in these like days that I've been here, especially with the kids. And as a mama of just one, I'm definitely very inspired by you and very like just wowed, if that's a word, because like you're managing 4 children, um, and doing it in a place that like your children have roots, I guess, through AJ, but it is not necessarily your home, maybe a spiritual home, but not your, Australian roots. So how do you sort of like, I guess, hold space for this, part of your children's identity while also having roots that are, in fact, today I even learned Australian. Like, how do you feel living here and mothering here as an Australian, but maybe feeling more at home here? I'm curious.
Yeah, I certainly do feel at home here, and I think the place has shaped the way that I mother the children. Living here has actually allowed me to do a lot of healing, do a lot of my own inner work. Like being here in India always has and probably always will, like really has that effect on me to really just do the inner work, really let go of a lot of the coverings that I have over time built up and carried with me. Being here like has allowed me to be more spacious and to definitely really slow down a lot, really unwind my nervous system a lot. Like I feel like I have grown a lot as a person and as a mother living here, and looking back on the way that I used to operate, looking back on the way that I used to mother in Australia or in my earlier years of mothering. My eldest daughter is 8 years old. So, that's how long, just for context. But being in this place, in this culture, in this land definitely gives more space, just spaciousness and more ease, more peace. The part about the Indian roots and the Australian heritage and all of that, like, I think I feel a bit similar as AJ in the sense of, yes, we are Australian. Yes, they are Indian. Yes, they have also European heritage, but like at the end of the day, I feel like they are children of God, children of the earth. Like we don't really prescribe to a certain thing. Like we also honestly don't really participate in the mainstream cultural things of like Christmas or Easter or like those typical Christian like I have no problem with Christianity. I love Christianity. I love Jesus. But like we are sort of removing ourselves from the mainstream Babylon way of living, and with that comes also removing ourselves from any kind of mainstream Indian cultural ways of living as well. So it's kind of like our children don't look Indian. So everywhere we go, people are asking like, where are you from? Where are you from? And the kids always just say we're Australian because they don't look Indian. They know that people are needing that kind of answer. So they never actually say we're from Kerala, we're local. Also, they don't speak fluent Malayalam. So they certainly do, and I certainly do feel a separation in that sense. Like we're not fully we're not from here. We are not local people. Like we always joke we're foreigners. Like the kids joke like your sunglasses make you look like a foreigner. Like we're foreign. But at the same time, I feel more home here than maybe anywhere else that I've lived. It's a really funny thing. Like I think it's more about holding space for who they are as people, what that is, what they're expressing in that time. I don't actually think I necessarily am doing anything in particular to keep their like Australian roots alive or their European. Like I forget sometimes that I even have Austrian heritage. You know, like I actually.
You're not too caught up in the identity of.
Yeah, I think I'm not actually really.
Cultural identity.
Yeah, I'm not really identifying as any one thing, and probably they aren't as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And like, I guess for some people out there who, you know, might be thinking of like a couple who moves to India to raise their kids who had all the privileges of living in Australia, which might be very attractive to folks. Did you come up against this idea from other people, like, you know, naysayers, people in society, who just felt that like moving to India was the craziest thing to do, and like, why would you raise your kids in India? Like, oh my God, there's a billion people there, and like, there's not even going to be enough water when the apocalypse comes, or whatever those stories are. Like, how did you have any of your own fears that you had to overcome, or were you always just very like, did you have the conviction that like, no, India is going to be a perfect place to raise my children?
Yeah, I was actually the one who instigated the whole thing that we need to move back here. And I felt for a long time that India is where we need to raise the children for their, at least for their young childhood. We may not stay here forever and ever. Like they may want to study abroad. To be honest, I actually would rather stay here forever and ever, but you know, we're open. But I didn't have any fears or doubts about moving here at all. I was just like ready to pack the bags and go, which we literally did. But I did, once arriving here, after arriving here and really landing and unpacking and moving into the house that we moved into when we first arrived here, I had to do a lot of work to feel really and truly at home and really and truly like at peace and content with what we were doing. Like when we arrived here, I was like, oh yeah, actually that's right. There is a lot of things here that I need to get comfortable with again. There is a lot of, you know, like you sort of romanticize things in your mind before you get to a place, or you kind of make the best version of the story and then
face the reality.
Yeah, and then reality comes and you're like, oh yeah. So there's definitely been a lot of growing and learning and unlearning and letting go of a lot of comforts and a lot of safety nets, especially financially. Like in Australia, we can easily just get on the government payments if we need to. It's not a problem. Like whereas here, we really have had to be very resourceful, and it has pushed us creatively to actually make money and grow our finances and be self-sufficient and not rely on governments and be more
and like use your gifts.
Exactly. It has actually given me the confidence to like own my strengths and be more willing to like push the boundaries and focus on something and stay committed to the vision and not choose the easier option, which is to, just go and get a job. I'll just go get a job in the cafe and like I'll be sorted. Like we'll have some regular income. Like it won't be stressful. Like there's not that option here. So that's been like a big expansion. There's been a lot of things like that, which has been very expansive. And I feel like the way that we live here is actually so much more abundant, so much more rich, including financially. And that's the piece that like most people don't understand. It's like, oh, you're going to like India and you're living this simple life on the mountains and you're homeschooling the kids, and like most people feel like that also equals having less money, but it doesn't. And it's actually so freeing and so expansive.
You've really like
really
flipped the script.
Yeah.
And you're really
it's kind of
finding
like
your abundance here.
Yes. Like in the West, we're more in a box. We're more those people who, I don't know, like can't push past a certain level. Like there's some sort of glass ceiling. Whereas in this space, in this environment, culture, everything, it's allowed me to just like push past that glass ceiling.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
This is a question for both of you. So it could be both or either of you. And I'm just wondering, like, what rituals, traditions, habits, it could be objects, like what makes you feel at home no matter where you are?
Coconut trees.
You guys do cook with a lot of coconut and everything you make. It's amazing.
That's essential.
Yeah, but anywhere where we can grow a bit of food, plant some seeds, and I think that's what is very important for this lifestyle, for the abundance, not just in the land and just for material, but for health. Because being able to grow the food from seed and nurture that seed to become actual food that we can cook, that's where all the learning is. That's where all the health is. I think that there is so much patience required, and you've got to keep on improving. You've got to work with the seasons. You've got to work with whatever's available, and that just connects you more with the land. And for our kids, like our son Zion, you just can see the energy when he's working out in the field and coming back. He's just a different person. There's so much energy, and like we don't have any other, like we don't need any medication or any other things. We are very sustainable in our health, and all our kids have never been to a hospital, including me and Irie. We haven't been sick for about many years, 12 or more years. And it all comes down to being able to grow our own food, to be able to walk bare feet on the land and just expose ourselves to the elements, to nature, and work with nature. I think that's what really connects us, and that's our ritual, really, to work in the field.
That's beautiful. And I definitely see that in your lifestyle, like, and your food is amazing, honestly. Like, I feel like after I came from Chennai and was just gorging on everything and lots of sweets and stuff, it's so nice to just eat like simple, but also everything's so homemade and so low in sugar. And even my daughter has adjusted to it and started to enjoy and got off the chocolate juice diet that she was on in the city. So it is amazing. Do you have anything that you wanted to add to that?
Music. Music, like for us, reggae music is a huge part of our life and our prayer and our joy. And like when we are, we put the music on while we're in the garden, when we're in the kitchen, like that music and dance, and that music is the message of like peace and unity and liberty, natural living, and that is, I feel home. Yeah, that's home for me.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Adamara's been loving it too. She's totally been getting down to the reggae here, so that is so cool. I'm curious about the grief process around leaving places, reestablishing home in these places. And I guess there's grief in a lot of things. Like even when you were talking about your childhood and AJ, your family, and like not getting the social approval and all the things. Like what do you think you've had to grieve in order to live the life of your authentic selves, your true selves? Has there been some grief that you can name?
I feel like I went through more of a grieving process when we first landed in India, which was about 3.5 years ago. And that kind of continued for quite a while. To be honest, I think really in the last year, it's only probably been in the last year since birthing our fourth baby. The pregnancy with him actually really amplified a lot of things. Like, it really forced me to go to the depths and really like dig deep and really just let go of a lot of stuff. I'm trying to like be more specific, but I had to I grieved a lot of the Western comforts. I really missed having friends and being like able to go and take all my kids and just go to the beach or get in the car and go to the cafe and meet a friend, and all of the very common things that just keep you busy, keep you doing, keep you going. Like, if there's nothing to do, okay, we'll go to the library. Or there's nothing to do, we'll go to this person's house or that person's house, or we'll go to that birthday party, this birthday party. There's always like every week there's a birthday party. And where we are from in the Australia, there's like a big homeschooling community. So even though you're homeschooling your kids, like there's a lot of like activities and outings and excursions and so many things. Like, you just fill up your whole day with all these things. And when we got here, it was empty. It was nothing. It was spacious. It was us and the land, and that was it. And I was just like, whoa, it's quiet. And that was scary. And with that quietness, a lot of my insecurities, my childhood traumas, my doubts and fears, everything just like erupted to the surface. And it was pretty intense for some time through the last pregnancy, especially because we were also building a house. We just purchased an empty block of land, a 1.5 acre, literally empty block of land. There was not even a driveway. There was no water. There was no electricity where we live right now.
Where you are now.
There was nothing. It was the side of a mountain, overgrown with like shrubs and weeds, and like it was literally nothing. There wasn't even a flat space to build a house. Like, it was hectic. Wow. Then next minute, a couple months later, I'm pregnant, and I'm like, whoa, okay, we don't have a house. We're living in a shack. We're literally living in a tiny little shack, which we were renting. And, you know, it was monsoon, and there was like knee-deep mud all around our house. We have 3 kids and we have 2 dogs, and my baby's toilet training. The dog is shitting in the house. Like, there was a lot going on.
Yeah. And
I was in the depth.
Yeah, you're like, I could be in Australia going to the library.
I really want to go to the library. I want to read The Very Hungry Caterpillar and sit in a clean, air-conditioned library.
And have a cappuccino with my girlfriends after.
Exactly.
And, like, the hell am I doing here?
Oh my God, that was big. But it was like, you know, AJ said to me so many times during that season of our life, he just kept saying to me, like, diamonds are made under pressure. Diamonds are made under pressure. Also, meanwhile, we don't have any financial situation sorted out. All our money is going towards building the house. Like, diamonds are really made under pressure. And like, I was put in that situation to really just like force me out of any last drop of like unnecessary things, materialistic, like things that are not serving me or my children. It's not the reason why we came here. Like, it was really, the reason we came here is to really just give our children the foundation of freedom and nature and simplicity. And, you know, I had to go through all that to be able to give them that.
And do you feel like you're on the other side?
Yeah. Oh, thank goodness.
And it feels good.
Yeah, it does. Now I feel so content and happy here. Like, I have never felt such like actual content in moments, and like actual like freedom and actual like joy in all the tiny little things. And like, yeah.
You feel home.
I feel home. Yeah, I really do. It's been so nice to feel that. And I keep thinking, like, for my whole life, I've always been like, okay, where am I going next? Where am I moving next? Where am I traveling next? Now, like, there is nothing, like, I don't feel like there's anywhere I would rather be. Like, there's nowhere I would rather be living with my children. There was no other way I'd rather be growing with them, nurturing them. Like, this is it for me. I feel like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations. That's a pretty big achievement, I think, in the world where we just have so many options and possibilities, and we have FOMO, and we're always looking at a menu of like 100 things, and we can't choose anything because we could have that and that and that.
Yeah.
And we want it all and all at once. So
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing to arrive at that place. Is there anything that you want to add to that, AJ?
I think for me, grief is, like I already said, like she's out of it. But for me, like seeing where the world is headed and what's happening in the world day-to-day basis, it's not something that you can shut off from. Just being in the mountains doesn't mean the matrix is not here. You know, everything is still here. The AI is here. All the oppressions of the world are here. So it's like, it's a day-to-day process to cleanse yourself, to rejuvenate yourself. But that doesn't mean you're like shunning away the grief. You like, that's why I grow my locks, because that grief is here with me always. You know, like people are suffering in the world. And for me, I've always been that kind of a person who wants to serve in some way or other. So when I left Australia, I was serving, a community of people with music, with yoga, with meditation, with growing food, and, holding a community. And then there was a little bit of difficulty in leaving them behind and knowing that they also would like to have a different lifestyle, but somewhere or other they are caught up in the matrix. So I'm still thinking about those kind of things. And even here, I know that so many people are suffering around me. So many are suffering around me. It's just a mouse.
It's just our little friend. I was like, not sure what that was. Because, in the mountains, there's like all kinds of stuff, at least in my mountains. But okay, I'm good. I'm good with little baby mice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think grieving is part of who I am. I'm like that. That's my purpose. I like to grieve for others, and that's my part of my identity as well.
Okay.
I like to convert that, make the joyful noise, and, just turn that around and spread some positive vibes while I'm grieving inside.
That's beautiful. I guess I'm going to end with one question, and it's a question that probably I'm personally obsessed with. And it's about belonging, because I think there's a lot of us in the world that are searching for a sense of belonging. Many of us have found it, many of us haven't. And I feel like that's really connected to a sense of home, a feeling of belonging, whether it's to your family, your culture, your country. Do you feel a sense of belonging in your life? Do you think belonging is something that you earn, that it's given by your ancestors, or it's something that you decide or craft or create in your life? What do you feel about belonging in your life right now?
I think it's since I've been studying more about neuroscience, studying a lot about Taoist and Qigong and yoga, karma, different modalities, different methodologies of the same philosophy. I feel belonging is more a body experience. it's a coherence with the gut, heart, brain. Like when the body is in coherence, there is no separation, right? The mind, body, spirit is in unity. Otherwise, sometimes when the mind is desiring something, there's the body's almost needs to force, to conform to whatever the mind is desiring. So maybe the body is not ready for that, and now the heart has to kind of not be the kind of the emperor or empress of this human kingdom, or the being that we are, which is the mind, body, spirit. Heart is like kind of dominated or subjugated by the ego or the identity or the desire to be somewhere, to be something, to achieve something. So like for me, like it was about letting go of desires to belong or to reach somewhere or something. And then I actually found that it's the belonging is here right now in every breath, in just being, right, in the suffering, in the joys, in the nothingness, in the emptiness. That's where the real belonging is. Like everything else is like sort of a reflection of that. Like when we are truly belonging in our own skin, in our own heart, then that is the electromagnetic field of frequency that we emit, that also creates that belonging or invites belonging for others. So it's really like from a place of heart-centered living that belonging can be fulfilled, and it's a moment-to-moment process. It's not like one time you find it and that's it. It's like you got to keep on you got to keep on sustaining that, yeah, through being kind on yourself, being compassionate on yourself, to be more gentle and to accept who you are without any kind of desires or desire to be something or somewhere else. Just to accept whatever is happening, just to be grateful and thankful for that. And that's when the belonging actually realizes itself, because it's already there. We just have to step into it. We just have to realize it, I feel.
Amazing. I love that. I'll definitely contemplate that. Absolutely. Thank you. Irie, do you want to add anything?
I feel that too. I like that one. We'll leave it like that. Because yeah, I guess it's like whatever frequency that you're putting out into the world, it's what you're going to receive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that sense of, yeah, I guess you're also creating belonging then, isn't it? Like you're creating it and you're allowing it.
It's a revelation. The
there.
belonging is already there. Sometimes the mind kind of clutters, all these things that we identify with kind of overshadows that realization. And now we have to, dig deeper, reach for our shadows and, go deeper into the valley of our mind, of our being. Because we are still staying at the top and not, integrating our shadows, which is maybe, some emotional suppressions that we have had, some of these traumas, some of these other shadows. Only if we integrate them, then we can actually belong in the true essence of belonging, I feel. And then there's nothing to desire. Because when the more we desire, we only visit the edges of our belonging, right? We cannot really go into the center of it. And when we touch that center of it, that's when there is nothing. There is emptiness. It's just abundance. It's just infinite. It's just eternal presence. And yeah, there's no three dimensions. There's just present dimensions. There are no past or future anymore. And that's where the belonging is, in that presence.
That's so beautiful. Well, I think that concludes our conversation, although I could just keep going. It was just such a beautiful experience to be here, to be a part of your world, to have our children together and play and kind of become this like big family for a few days. And yes, I'm ever so grateful that you've welcomed us to your home and been so open in sharing everything that you've shared with us. And I'm going to add some links to both of your work because I think there's a lot of goodness that can come from people checking out the things that you offer and what you're doing and some of the projects that I know are in the works and the irons in the fire. Many things are going to be coming from both of you in the years to come too, which is really exciting. Do you feel there's anything that you want to add?
First of all, just want to really, we are so humble that, you took the effort to come all the way to these mountains and spend some time with us. It really, really feels like we know each other from a very long time. And
Me too.
yeah, it had to happen at some point. And it's really great that it happened now. And so good to meet Aramara and her energy, and for the kids to be in oneness and play like kids.
Totally.
Yeah, and that is such a special thing to be able to witness. Yeah, we're truly grateful, and it's such a memorable experience for us as well.
Thank
For
you.
those of you who are listening, I just want to say, be more kind, be more compassionate, be more gentle on yourself. Just accept who you are in the moment. Don't reach for anything that is beyond. Overextend yourself so much that it leads to burnout or exhaustion, right? Just it's okay, whatever is happening in life right now. Just stay positive, just stay humble, content in the moment.
Beautiful. Thank you, AJ.
Yeah, thank you, Yamuna. I have really enjoyed this time that we've had together. And truly not a lot of people, like so many people say, I'm coming to visit, I'm going to come, I'm going to come. Literally no one comes. Except my mom.
Totally.
Literally no one comes. So it's really nice to like actually have somebody
awesome.
come and connect and really like feel life here and really connect with life here. So yeah, just
Amazing.
Grateful, humbled. Yeah, love what you do as well. Love to witness your growth and your becoming as a mother, and loved hearing your birth story. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, it was really beautiful to share this space and time with you.
Amazing. And thank you for breaking the ice on my first interview ever. I'm so glad it was you guys. Thank you so much.
Yay.
And all right, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
You've been listening to The Long Road Home, a podcast for travelers, storytellers, and culture makers, exploring the roots that shape us and the roads that lead us home. I'm Yamuna. See you on the road.